What if I told you that the single most powerful weapon you will ever hold in your entire lifetime is not money, not talent, not connections, not education, and not even opportunity? It is something sitting quietly inside your skull right now, completely free, completely available, and completely untouched by most people who walk this earth? What if I told you that the wealthiest men in human history, the men who built empires from absolutely nothing, from poverty, from rejection, from failure so devastating it would destroy a normal person, what if those men shared one secret, one invisible force that separated them from every single person who gave up? That force has a name. It is called positive mental attitude. And here is what will shock you. It is not born. It is not given. It is not lucky. It is built, brick by brick, thought by thought, decision by decision. And today, in the next few minutes, I am going to hand you the exact blueprint, the same blueprint used by the greatest achievers this world has ever seen, so that by the time this video ends, you will never think the same way again. Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything. What if the only thing standing between you and the life you have always dreamed of is not circumstances, not bad luck, not the economy, not the people around you, but simply the way you choose to think every single morning when you open your eyes? This is not a comfortable idea. It is a revolutionary one, and revolution always makes people uncomfortable before it makes them free. Let me take you somewhere for a moment. Imagine a man sitting in a small, cold room with nothing but a blank piece of paper in front of him. No money, no connections, no guarantees. The world has already laughed at him. The world has already told him he is dreaming too big, reaching too high, wanting too much. And yet, this man picks up his pen and he begins to write. Not because he knows how things will turn out, not because success is guaranteed, but because somewhere deep inside his chest, something is burning, something that failure cannot touch, something that poverty cannot steal, something that rejection cannot extinguish. That burning thing is a positive mental attitude, and it is the most unconquerable force a human being can possess. Now, let me tell you something that most people never hear. Most people believe that a positive mental attitude is about smiling when things are good. They think it means being cheerful at a party or staying calm when something small goes wrong. They associate it with motivational posters and feel-good quotes. But that shallow understanding is exactly why most people remain stuck. A truly unbreakable positive mental attitude is not a mood. It is not a feeling that comes and goes like weather. It is a mental posture, a permanent internal decision about how you will interpret every single experience that life throws at you. It is the decision that you will find the lesson in the loss, the opportunity in the obstacle, the growth in the grief. This kind of mental posture is not natural. Nothing that powerful is ever natural. It must be built through conscious, daily, relentless effort. The first truth you must understand is this: your mind is a garden, and you are its only gardener. Every single thought that enters your mind is either a seed of something magnificent or a weed of something destructive. And here is the terrifying part. If you do not consciously plant the seeds you want, nature will fill your garden with weeds automatically. This is not metaphor. This is the actual mechanical reality of how the human subconscious operates. Negative thoughts do not need your permission to grow. They grow on their own because fear is the default language of a mind left unattended. Worry grows without effort. Doubt grows without effort. Resentment grows without effort. But faith, courage, optimism, determination, these must be planted every single day. Every single day, without exception, without negotiation, without waiting for the right moment. Now, here is something that will genuinely shock you. Science has confirmed what great thinkers understood long before laboratories existed, that your brain literally reshapes itself based on the patterns of thought you repeat. Every time you choose a positive interpretation of a difficult situation, you are physically carving a new pathway in your neural architecture. You are rewiring your own brain. You are installing new software into the most sophisticated machine ever created. And conversely, every time you surrender to a negative thought without challenging it, you are deepening an old groove, a groove that becomes a rut, and a rut that eventually becomes a prison. The mind that you have right now is the result of every thought you have allowed yourself to think until this moment. The mind you will have 5 years from now is being built by the thoughts you choose to think starting today. The second principle you must master is what the greatest achievers in history understood as definiteness of purpose. Here is the shocking reality. A person without a clear, burning, written, specific purpose for their life cannot maintain a positive mental attitude. It is impossible because the human mind requires direction. When there is no direction, the mind wanders into the dark territories of comparison, envy, regret, and fear. You cannot think positively about a future you have not defined. You cannot feel faith about a destination you cannot see clearly. This is why so many people wake up every morning already feeling defeated before the day has even begun, because they have no target to aim at, no mission to serve, no purpose to fuel them. The moment you write down your definite major purpose, the one thing you are committed to achieving above all else, your mind begins to reorganize itself around that purpose. It begins to notice opportunities it previously ignored. It begins to find resources it previously overlooked. It begins to attract the people and circumstances needed for that purpose to become reality. This is not magic. This is the mechanics of a focused mind. The third and perhaps most underestimated principle is self-discipline over emotion. The greatest enemy of a positive mental attitude is not your circumstances. It is not your past. It is not the people who hurt you or the system that failed you. The greatest enemy is your own undisciplined emotional responses. Emotions are powerful, they are real, they deserve to be felt. But they must never be allowed to make your decisions, because emotions, particularly fear, anger, jealousy, and self-pity, are temporary visitors in your mind. They are passing storms, and the person who allows a passing storm to permanently redirect their entire life's course is making the most costly mistake a human being can make. Self-discipline means that you feel the fear and you take the action anyway. It means you feel the discouragement and you show up anyway. It means that you feel like quitting at 10 o'clock at night and you choose to continue for one more hour because you made a commitment to your future self. This discipline, practiced daily, becomes character, and character is the foundation upon which an unbreakable positive mental attitude is built. Now, I want to talk to you about something that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary, and it is the way they interpret failure. Most people treat failure as a verdict, as a final judgment, as proof that they are not enough, not capable, not deserving, and the moment they accept that verdict, they are finished. Not because the world stopped giving them opportunities, but because their minds stopped being able to see them. But the person with an unbreakable, positive mental attitude looks at failure and sees something completely different. They see data. They see direction. They see the exact feedback their next attempt needs. Every single person who has ever built anything of lasting significance has failed. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly, dramatically, publicly, and painfully. The difference between them and those who quit is not talent. The difference is that they possessed a mental framework that transformed failure from a stop sign into a road sign, one that pointed them not backward, but forward and deeper into the direction of their purpose. Here is another dimension that few people ever explore: the role of the people around you in shaping your mental attitude. Your mind absorbs the energy of your environment like a sponge. You cannot spend every day surrounded by people who complain, criticize, gossip, and surrender to mediocrity, and expect to maintain an unbreakable positive mental attitude. It is not possible. Energy is contagious. Attitude is contagious. Limitation is contagious. And so is greatness. So is courage. So is determination. The most important decision you will ever make, outside of your own internal mental practices, is who you allow to occupy the closest circle of your daily life. Choose people who challenge you. Choose people who have already achieved what you are reaching for. Choose people whose standard of thinking is higher than where you currently are, because your mind will naturally rise to meet the standard of the environment it spends the most time in. The final and most powerful principle I want to leave in your mind today is this: faith. Not religious faith specifically, though for many that is a profound source. I am speaking about the faith of a mind that believes in its outcome before the evidence exists. The faith that says, I do not yet have proof that this will work, but I believe deeply, completely, and without reservation that it will. This quality of belief is what allows a human being to keep moving when every logical indicator says stop. It is what keeps the entrepreneur building when the business has failed 3 times. It is what keeps the artist creating when the world has ignored their work for a decade. It is what keeps the dreamer dreaming when everyone around them calls the dream impossible. Faith is not weakness. Faith is the most muscular force in the human experience, and it is the crown jewel of a positive mental attitude that cannot be broken by any external force on this earth. Everything we have explored today can be reduced to a single, undeniable truth. The quality of your life will always match the quality of your thinking. Not sometimes, not usually, always. The world outside you will always be a reflection of the world inside you. Change the inside, and the outside must follow. This is not wishful thinking. This is a law, as fixed and as reliable as gravity itself. You now hold something in your hands that most people never receive: a clear understanding of how the most powerful force in human achievement actually works. You understand that a positive mental attitude is built, not born. You understand that it requires purpose, self-discipline, the right environment, the ability to learn from failure, and an unshakable faith in your own potential. You understand that your brain reshapes itself around your dominant thoughts, which means that starting from this very moment, you have the power to architect an entirely new mental reality. The question is not whether this is possible. The question is whether you will choose it. Every morning when you open your eyes, the choice will be waiting for you. It will not announce itself dramatically. It will come quietly, in that first thought, in that first emotional response to whatever the day brings. And in that quiet moment, everything will be decided. Choose the thought that serves you. Choose the belief that empowers you. Choose the mental attitude that cannot be broken, because the life you have always wanted is not locked behind opportunity or luck or the right connections. It is locked behind the door of your own mind, and you have always had the key.